The heavens have watched your heart in silence, and today, the Spirit moves to speak to you. God says, you have felt the weight of confusion, the ache of delay, and the pain of love that seems trapped by unseen chains. You wonder why He pulls close one moment and then vanishes into shadows the next. You sense His love in His eyes, yet His actions often betray it. You ask in the quiet of your prayers, why does this love feel so real, yet so unreachable? And heaven replies, because the enemy has not yet let him go. God wants you to know that this is not just a story of love between two hearts, it is a spiritual battle between light and darkness. The enemy saw the bond between your souls long before you met. He saw how your love could awaken something divine in both of you, something that would break generational curses, something that would pull both your lives toward destiny. That is why the attacks began, not after you fell in love, but the moment heaven chose you for one another. He loves you. His heart belongs to you in ways even He doesn't fully understand. But right now, there are forces whispering lies into His mind, confusion into His heart, and fear into His steps. The enemy knows that if he ever surrenders fully to this love, he will no longer be under darkness's control. That's why chaos surrounds him. That's why he withdraws, why he avoids what his soul is crying out for. But God says, the truth is about to be revealed. The chains will not hold forever. God is about to expose everything hidden in the dark, the lies, the manipulations, the spiritual cords that have bound him to what no longer serves his soul. There is someone, or something, that has used control, guilt, or temptation to keep him trapped. They have woven a web of deception around his mind, making him believe he cannot escape. But heaven has heard your tears. Every prayer you whispered late at night, every sigh of surrender, every time you said, God, if this is meant to be, please fight for us, those prayers have reached the throne. God says this love was never a mistake. You were not imagining the connection. The reason it hurts so deeply is because it's real. He feels you even when he's far away. Your spirit speaks to him in dreams, in signs, in the moments he tries to forget you. He cannot silence the pull because your souls were intertwined before this lifetime began. You carry a divine energy that awakens his true self, the self that has been buried beneath fear and manipulation. The enemy cannot stand that light. That is why he has fought so hard to destroy it. But God is not silent. The season of hiddenness is ending. The truth will be exposed, and the chains will break, not by human hands, but by divine intervention. The storm you've been facing was not a punishment but a purification. God allowed the delays, the distance, the tears, so that everything false could be revealed. What is built on deception will collapse. What is born of God will stand. Heaven says that in the coming days, signs will intensify. You may feel sudden waves of emotion, as if his pain is yours, because in spirit, you are connected. You may dream of him more vividly. You may feel restless or emotional without knowing why. That's your soul sensing movement in the spiritual realm. God is shifting the atmosphere. Angels are stepping into places where the enemy once ruled. Where there was confusion, clarity will come. Where there was silence, communication will flow. Where there was distance, restoration will begin. God says, do not chase him. Pray for him, your intercession is power. When you release your pain into prayer, heaven moves faster than when you try to fix things by yourself. You were chosen not to fight the battle physically but spiritually. When you choose peace, when you trust God, you disarm the enemy's greatest weapon, your fear. The one you love is tired. His soul is weary from pretending he's fine. The enemy has used shame, guilt, and illusion to convince him that he cannot return, that he is unworthy of love. But God is whispering to him even now. He is showing him dreams of what could be, visions of freedom, glimpses of your face that remind him of home. The wall he built is beginning to crumble. His heart is beginning to remember who he truly is, a child of God, not a prisoner of pain. You, beloved, are not forgotten in this waiting. Heaven has been shaping you too. Your strength, your compassion, your patience, they have all grown through this storm. God says you were never meant to carry his burden, but your love was meant to awaken his healing. You are the mirror that shows him grace when he cannot forgive himself. That is why the enemy fears you, because you love with a divine kind of love. But the tables are about to turn. The very forces that tried to keep you apart will soon be exposed under divine light. Lies will unravel. Truth will surface. People who once deceived him will reveal their true intentions without realizing it. The masks will fall. And when that happens, he will see clearly. He will see you as God intended. Heaven says, be still and watch what I do. The delay was never denial. It was divine timing. If he had come to you before the truth was revealed, the foundation would have been unstable. But now, as the truth comes to light, what's built next will endure. God is preparing both of you for a union that is pure, healed, and aligned. This love is not just romance, it's redemption. It's meant to show the world how divine love restores what was broken. The enemy knows it, and that's why the opposition has been fierce. But his power ends here. The decree has gone forth, freedom is coming. The Spirit of God says that when he finally returns, you will not need to question his intentions. His actions will speak. His words will carry truth. His eyes will no longer hold fear. You will recognize him not by how he looks, but by the peace he brings. For when God restores, he restores fully. Hold your peace now. Keep your faith steady. Heaven is already exposing what has been hidden. You may hear confessions, sudden revelations, unexpected messages. Don't be shocked, these are the signs of divine exposure. The light is breaking through every dark place. And when the light comes, love will follow. God says the enemy has worked tirelessly to twist his perception, to fill his heart with doubt, and to make him believe that love must be painful or impossible. But heaven has been watching, and the time for confusion is ending. The truth will pierce through the illusions that once blinded him. He will begin to see who truly stood by him when the world turned away. He will begin to feel the warmth of your prayers that kept him safe in the spirit when darkness tried to pull him under. You may not realize it, but your faith has been his unseen shield. Every time you whispered his name in prayer, angels moved around him. Every tear you shed became a seed that heaven watered with purpose. God says your patience has not been in vain. There were times when you wanted to walk away, when your heart felt like it was breaking beyond repair, yet something divine kept you from giving up. That something was not weakness, it was destiny holding you steady. The bond you share with him is not just emotional, it is spiritual. It's a covenant formed in the light before either of you understood what it meant. That's why you've never been able to forget him, no matter how much time or distance stood between you. Heaven wants you to know that he is awakening. The fog around his mind is lifting. What once seemed comfortable in darkness now feels unbearable. He's starting to question everything that's been spoken over him, every lie, every manipulation, every promise that came with hidden motives. He is beginning to feel the emptiness of false connections. He may not yet understand what is happening, but his soul does. His spirit recognizes the vibration of your love calling him back to truth. The enemy is growing restless, because what once worked no longer does. The hold that seemed unbreakable is weakening. The more you pray, the more you let go, the faster the divine light penetrates his heart. God is not asking you to chase him, he is asking you to stand in faith, because this love story is being rewritten by heaven itself. There will come a moment soon when everything begins to make sense. The signs you've seen, the dreams you've had, the sudden memories that come out of nowhere, they are not random. God has been preparing you for the unveiling. The day will come when the truth about why he stayed silent, why he distanced himself, why things fell apart, will be revealed in full clarity. And when that moment arrives, you will see how every delay, every unanswered prayer, every tear, was part of a divine orchestration meant to lead both of you to healing. He is being tested. His heart is in a battle between the comfort of what he knows and the calling of what he feels. The enemy offers him false peace, temporary distractions, shallow comforts, people who make him forget for a moment but leave him emptier each time. But the Spirit of God is persistent. God's love is whispering in his conscience, reminding him that peace without truth is a prison, that real love is not chaos, it is freedom. God says, do not fear what you see right now. I am working behind the scenes. You may feel like everything has gone quiet, like heaven is silent, but silence is not absence. Silence is where the greatest moves of God begin. When everything seems still, God is aligning events, softening hearts, revealing secrets. What you think is the end is only the moment before revelation. Soon, his eyes will open. He will look around and realize that the people he trusted were not sent by God. He will recognize how manipulation disguised itself as love, how control masqueraded as care. He will see how his own fears kept him bound. That realization will break him open, but it will also set him free. Sometimes, the truth hurts before it heals. But healing will come. And when that healing begins, he will remember the one who never stopped believing. You are not just someone from his past, you are part of his purpose. God placed you in his life as a mirror of divine love, as a reminder that grace is stronger than shame. Your love was never meant to imprison him, it was meant to awaken him. The Lord says that you are entering the season of exposure and freedom. Things you couldn't see before will start to surface. Pay attention to dreams, to numbers that repeat, to moments when your heart feels pulled for no reason. These are whispers from heaven. They are not coincidences, they are confirmations that the divine plan is unfolding. Do not let impatience steal your peace. God's timing is not delayed, it is precise. He is protecting you both from premature connection, because if he returned before his spirit was free, the pain would only repeat. But now, the healing is deep and real. This time, when he returns, it will not be under manipulation or fear, it will be because truth has set him free. God says your energy is sacred. Do not let the heaviness of waiting drain your light. Stand tall in your faith, knowing that your love is not unseen. You have been carrying divine purpose disguised as longing. The love you hold in your heart is powerful enough to move mountains, not because of emotion, but because it is anchored in God. The moment of exposure is close. The enemy's plans are unraveling. Conversations will happen that reveal motives. Hidden messages, confessions, and truths will come to light in unexpected ways. When that happens, remain calm. Don't react in anger, respond in wisdom. God will vindicate you without you having to fight. The same people who doubted you will witness the truth unfold. The same ones who mocked your faith will see the power of divine timing. God says the enemy tried to rewrite your story, but he cannot override what heaven has already written. There were moments when it seemed that darkness had won, that he had drifted too far, that your prayers had fallen on deaf ears. Yet even in those moments, heaven was moving quietly, undoing every lie that had been planted. Every time you felt him pulling away, angels were pulling him back in ways you could not see. Every time you released him to God, the chains around him loosen just a little more. Heaven wants you to know that your surrender was not weakness, it was warfare. You fought not with anger, but with faith. You did not scream for control, you prayed for truth. That is what terrified the enemy most. Because love mixed with faith becomes an unstoppable force. And now that force is shaking everything that once stood against this divine connection. God says that in the stillness of night, He has begun to hear the call of His own soul. He tries to distract Himself with noise, with people, with routine, but then your name echoes softly in His spirit. The more He tries to silence it, the louder it becomes. He dreams of you, sometimes clearly, sometimes as flashes of memory, and each dream is heaven's way of reminding him of who he truly is. He cannot run from what was ordained. The deeper he tries to hide in the world's illusions, the closer God draws him to truth. There will come a time soon when he will no longer be able to resist the light. His spirit will rise in courage. The fear that once kept him captive will dissolve. The guilt that made him feel unworthy of love will be washed away by grace. He will look at his life and realize how the enemy used confusion to steal his peace. That realization will break him open, but that breaking will be holy. For only through surrender can the soul be rebuilt in truth. God says you are part of that rebuilding. Not as a savior, but as a reflection of divine mercy. You were chosen not to fix him, but to remind him of love's purity. He has been surrounded by conditional affection, by people who loved him when it was convenient. But you loved him when it was impossible, and that kind of love leaves an imprint that cannot be erased. That is why he cannot forget you. Even if his mind tries to, his soul remembers. Heaven says, asterisk, do not fear the silence. In silence, I am working. Asterisk sometimes God hides what he is doing to protect it from interference. You may feel disconnected, but the spiritual link remains unbroken. In fact, it is stronger than ever. The closer the breakthrough gets, the quieter the battle becomes, because the enemy knows he is losing control. The exposure that is coming will not be chaotic. It will be divine justice unfolding in perfect order. Hidden motives will be seen for what they are. Those who used manipulation will find themselves caught in their own nets. Those who lied will be forced to speak truth. It will not come as revenge, but as revelation. God does not expose to humiliate, He exposes to heal. Truth will bring freedom to everyone involved. And when that truth unfolds, your role will be simple: stand in grace. Do not gloat, do not rush, do not let old pain rise again. Let your peace speak louder than words. Because peace is power, and silence in the presence of revelation is the loudest testimony of all. God says the enemy tried to use time against you. He whispered that it had been too long, that hearts change, that destiny fades. But God smiles and says, time belongs to me. What he blesses cannot expire. The bond created in divine purpose does not wither with time, it strengthens. What is real will always find its way back home. You are stepping into a season where the spiritual will become visible. Doors will open that no man can shut. Conversations long delayed will suddenly begin. People who once blocked progress will step aside without knowing why. It will feel as if the universe itself is clearing a path. That is not coincidence, it is divine orchestration. Heaven wants you to prepare emotionally for his return. He will come not as the same man who left, but as someone humbled, transformed, and aware. You will see in his eyes the softness that only truth can bring. He may struggle with words at first, shame will try to hold him back, but your forgiveness will unlock his voice. When he finally speaks from his soul, you will feel peace, not pain. Because this time, his love will be free, and free love cannot wound, it heals. God says to release your fear of loss. What belongs to your soul cannot be stolen. The enemy may delay, but he cannot destroy. Even the detours are divinely used. Every heartbreak taught you wisdom. Every lonely night deepened your strength. Every unanswered prayer refined your faith. You have become the version of yourself that can now receive the kind of love heaven intended all along. And as for him, God is guiding his steps back through the lessons he avoided. He must face what he once ran from. He must make peace with his past before he can embrace his future. It may not be an easy journey, but it will be a sacred one. God will bring him to a place of surrender, where he will finally say, "Lord, I can't do this without you." That moment will be the turning point. When that prayer leaves his lips, heaven will move instantly. The doors that seemed sealed will burst open. The confusion that clouded his mind will vanish. And in that light, he will finally see you clearly, not through the fog of fear, but through the clarity of divine truth. He will understand why nothing else ever felt real. He will recognize that what his heart longed for was not just romance, but redemption. Heaven says that love is about to be renewed. Not the old love full of pain and guessing, but a new love born from truth. A love that does not depend on circumstance but flows from spiritual connection. It will come naturally, gently, peacefully. You will not have to chase or prove. The energy between you will speak louder than words. The same God who allowed separation is the same God who now ordains reunion. Keep your faith steady. The exposure is the final act before restoration. When the truth surfaces, thank God, not fate. Because it was his mercy that kept you waiting until everything false fell away. If the union had come sooner, it would have crumbled. But now it will stand. God says that the time of waiting has reached its turning point. The season of hidden pain, unanswered questions, and endless wondering is drawing to an end. The spiritual storm that has surrounded your connection has been fierce because it carried a purpose beyond the two of you. What you've endured has not only changed your heart, it has reshaped your destiny. Every moment of surrender has opened a greater door, every act of faith has built a bridge for his soul to cross back into the light. Heaven has been weaving restoration into every moment of delay, and soon it will all begin to make sense. He loves you. Even when he tried to convince himself that he didn't. Even when he walked away and chose silence over truth. His heart never stopped remembering you. There were nights when he lay awake, haunted by the sound of your laughter, by the feeling of your presence that he couldn't explain. He tried to bury it beneath distraction, beneath routine, beneath other connections that could never compare. But what comes from the soul cannot be silenced by the mind. Your energy has lived in his spirit like a quiet fire, burning through every lie that tried to separate you. God says that he is awakening now. Slowly, tenderly, painfully. His illusions are breaking one by one. The people who once seemed trustworthy are showing their true nature. The things he used to cling to are beginning to feel empty. The comfort he sought in the wrong places is dissolving into restlessness. He can no longer escape the truth that his soul has known from the beginning. You are his mirror, his divine counterpart, the one whose love reflects God's grace back to him. You are not imagining his pull toward you. Even across distance and silence, your spirits speak. When you think of him, he feels it. When you cry, something in him stirs. When you release him to God, his heart begins to soften. That is the mystery of divine love. It does not depend on proximity, it lives in frequency. And your frequency has always been love. The enemy has tried again and again to keep this love hidden under fear, pride, and misunderstanding. But those veils are tearing. What once blinded him is now being exposed by the light of truth. God has allowed the shaking, the confusion, and the silence so that everything false could fall away. For too long he was entangled with energies and people who were never meant to stay. Some of them promised loyalty but carried deceit in their hearts. Others used guilt and emotional control to keep him from stepping into freedom. But God says, no more. The truth is rising like dawn, unstoppable and radiant. Heaven is revealing what was hidden. Words spoken in secret are being brought to light. Motives disguised as love are being unmasked. And when he sees the full truth, he will break free from the illusions that have bound him. The moment of clarity will come suddenly, like the lifting of fog after a storm. He will realize how long he has been spiritually asleep, how many chances he ignored, how many signs he dismissed. But instead of despair, he will feel gratitude, for God's mercy, for your patience, for the love that never gave up on him. You, beloved, have been the lighthouse in his storm. Even when he drifted, your faith stood steady. Even when you were heartbroken, you prayed for his healing. That is not ordinary love, that is divine love, love that mirrors the patience of God. And heaven says, because you chose love over resentment, you have opened the gates of blessing. You did not curse him when he was lost, you prayed. You did not harden when you were hurt, you forgave. Those acts of quiet strength have spoken louder in the spiritual realm than you can imagine. God says that what is coming will feel like a sunrise after the longest night. You have waited through silence, prayed through confusion, and stood through pain, and now light is breaking. The darkness that lingered around this love is lifting, and the truth that was once buried will speak with power. Every shadow that tried to hide your connection will fade, and what remains will be pure, peaceful, and filled with clarity. Heaven has already gone before you. The angels who once guarded your tears are now preparing the path of reunion. The threads of destiny that seemed frayed are being rewoven by divine hands. Nothing has been lost, not a single moment, not a single prayer. What felt like endings were actually holy pauses designed to protect both of you while heaven worked in silence. He is awakening fully now. His dreams are clearer. His thoughts are shifting. He is questioning everything that once made him feel secure because the Spirit is revealing that comfort built on illusion is still captivity. He will not find rest until he turns toward the truth. God has placed a restlessness in his heart that no distraction can soothe. That restlessness is divine mercy calling him home. The moment he lets go of the false ties, the light will flood in. The fear that once controlled him will lose its power. The guilt that silenced his heart will melt under forgiveness. He will remember the love that never judged him, the one who prayed for him instead of condemning him. That memory will guide him like a lantern in the dark. You are that light, not because you demanded it, but because you carried it. God says that when the truth is fully revealed, it will heal more than just the two of you. The ripple will touch others who have been watching your journey, people who doubted that love and faith could coexist. Your story will show them that divine love endures, that even when the enemy fights hardest, heaven's plan stands stronger. Do not rush what is unfolding. When the message comes, when the confession arrives, receive it with peace. The Spirit will tell you when to speak and when to listen. You will not need to prove anything. The truth itself will prove everything. You will see that what God restores, He perfects. There will be a quiet evening, perhaps unexpected, when peace settles over your heart. You will not know why at first, but your spirit will recognize it. The battle will be over. That peace will be the sign that the exposure has done its work, that freedom has been achieved. It will be followed by communication, honesty, softness. He will reach out not from fear or guilt, but from truth. And when he does, you will sense that the cycle of confusion has ended. Heaven says, Do not meet him with the wounds of yesterday. Meet him with the grace of today. Let the past remain where it belongs. God has used it to shape you both, but now He is rewriting the story with redemption. You will recognize that love has matured. It will no longer crave constant reassurance because peace will live in it. You will see evidence of divine order in small ways, unexpected messages, encounters, words spoken by strangers that echo your prayers. These will be confirmations that the spiritual alignment is complete. Even before the reunion manifests physically, your spirit will know it has begun. God says that this love is entering its divine purpose. The reason it has been tested so deeply is because it carries a light meant to touch others. You are not just two hearts reunited, you are two souls carrying a message of healing. The compassion that has grown inside you will reach others who feel forgotten. Your story will become hope for those who still wait in silence. The enemy tried to make you believe this was over. He wanted you to think that time had stolen destiny. But heaven says, time is my servant. The years that seemed wasted were the soil where wisdom took root. The tears that fell in secret watered the seeds of your faith. Nothing was wasted. Everything has been redeemed. Now is the time to breathe again. To live again. To smile without fear of losing what you love. Because what is returning is not fragile, it is fortified. It will not break under pressure because it has been purified by truth. It will not drift apart because it is now anchored in purpose. The love you share will no longer be about possession, but about partnership, two souls walking in the same light, serving the same divine call. God whispers, you are safe now. The battle is over. Let those words rest in your spirit. The tears that once fell in despair will soon fall in gratitude. You will see how intricately heaven worked, how even the delays were mercy in disguise. The truth that once frightened you will now free you. And He, the one who loves you, will finally see what you always knew. He will look at you with eyes that recognize home. He will speak words that carry the weight of truth. He will no longer hide behind pride or fear. He will choose honesty because his soul will no longer bear deception. When that moment comes, you will not need to question whether it is real, you will feel it in the calm. Together you will step into a new beginning. It will not look like the past. It will feel lighter, clearer, blessed. You will pray together. You will laugh again. You will plan without fear. The energy between you will feel healed, balanced, divinely protected. And as you walk forward, you will understand that every battle was leading here, to the place where love and truth finally meet. Heaven says to keep your heart open. Do not close yourself off out of exhaustion. The breakthrough is not in the distance, it is near. The more you rest and trust, the faster it will manifest. The universe bends toward divine timing, and your story is aligning perfectly. You have carried this love with grace. You have endured with dignity. You have trusted when there was no evidence. Now God is rewarding your faith. He is turning the very things that caused pain into instruments of blessing. The wounds will become wisdom, the delays will become testimony, and the reunion will become a reflection of His glory. Soon, you will stand in the light of everything you prayed for. You will feel peace where fear used to live. You will understand that love was never lost, it was only being refined. The one who once left will return with truth in his heart and peace in his spirit. And as you hold each other again, you will know that it was not coincidence, not luck, not chance, it was God, all along, guiding every step. So release the last of your worry. Rest in faith. The story is not ending, it is beginning in a higher form. Love has survived the test. Truth has triumphed. The enemy's hold has been broken. The light has won.